Godzilla, a nearly unstoppable creature powered by nuclear energy and reptilian rage, is also a tourist. Across more than 35 films, Godzilla and his kaiju counterparts have visited numerous cities, experiencing and destroying some of the world's most famous locations. While Japan is their primary target, they've accumulated frequent flyer miles. Godzilla doesn't demolish a major city in every movie. Some take place on Monster Island or empty fields. This happened in the 70s when budgets for the movies were tight. Here's a summary of every city they've encountered. Tokyo, 14 times. Attacked in Godzilla, 1954, Mothra, 1961, King Kong vs. Godzilla, 1962, Godzilla vs. Megalon, 1973, Terror of Mechagodzilla, 1975, The Return of Godzilla, 1984, Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, 1991, Godzilla vs. Destroyer, 1995, Godzilla 2000, 1999, Godzilla vs. Megaguirus, 2000, Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, 2001, Godzilla Tokyo SOS, 2003, Godzilla Final Wars, 2004, and Shin Godzilla in 2016. Perhaps unsurprisingly, Godzilla and his fellow monsters have attacked Japan's capital, a city that currently boasts a population of more than 13 million people, more than any other metro area. Tokyo was the site of Godzilla's first attack in the original 1954 movie. He actually ravaged it in 2 separate visits, but for the purposes of this list, we're counting each movie as one appearance. New York City, 3 times. Attacked in Destroy All Monsters in 1968, Godzilla 1998, and Godzilla Final Wars in 2004. As you can see, it's a very sharp drop-off from the kaiju's favorite target to the runner-up, but in the Godzilla franchise, it's only been hit 3 times. Godzilla blasted the United Nations while under alien mind control in 1968's Destroy All Monsters, and laid a bunch of eggs in Madison Square Garden in the much-maligned 1998 American Godzilla. Aside from that, the city was also hit by the flying monster Rodan in 2004's Final Wars. Fukuoka, 3 times. Attacked in Rodan in 1956, Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, 1991, and Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla in 1994. The largest city on Kyushu, Japan's southmost island, has been hit by monsters 3 times, though the Big G himself has only graced the city with his destructive presence once in 1994's Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla. Before that, Rodan attacked it in his standalone movie, and King Ghidorah dropped by as part of his 91 rampage. Tokai, 3 times. Attacked in Godzilla 2000 in 1999, Godzilla vs. Megaguirus in 2000, Godzilla Final Wars in 2004. This city was famous for being home to the first nuclear power plant of its kind in all of Japan, and as a result, kaiju have made pit stops for some of that sweet, sweet atomic juice. Godzilla visited twice, briefly, while the giant ship Ebirah clawed through in Final Wars. Osaka, 2 times. Attacked in Godzilla Raids Again in 1955 and Godzilla vs. Biollante in 1989. Osaka is one of the few cities that's made 2 appearances in the series, and it stands out for being the second city Godzilla ever laid waste to. Godzilla and Anguirus battled there in the second movie of the series, Godzilla Raids Again, which came out in 1955. The 2 trashed Osaka Castle, a historic landmark in the bustling modern city. It made another appearance decades later when Godzilla and the planet monster Biollante threw down in Osaka Bay. Yokohama, 2 times. Attacked in Godzilla vs. Mothra in 1992, Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah Giant Monsters All-Out Attack in 2001. The second largest city in Japan, not counting Tokyo's 23 special wards, has been attacked by giant monsters twice, which seems fitting. Godzilla wrecked the big Cosmo Clock 21 Ferris wheel while fighting Mothra and Batra in the 1990s, and then stomped on the city again while fighting Mothra and King Ghidorah a little less than a decade later. Nagoya, 2 times. Attacked in Mothra vs. Godzilla in 1964 and Godzilla vs. Mothra in 1992. This major Japanese port city has been hit twice. Godzilla did some damage during his first meeting with Mothra in the 1964 movie, and then Mothra's evil counterpart, Batra, attacked the city again in 1992. Paris, 2 times. Attacked in Destroy All Monsters in 1968 and Godzilla Final Wars in 2004. Somewhat surprisingly, the French capital is one of only a small handful of cities that have been sacked by kaiju twice. But Godzilla himself has never ravaged the City of Lights. Gorosaurus wrecked the Arc de Triomphe in Destroy All Monsters, although that honor was almost certainly supposed to have gone to Baragon, a monster known for digging. The monster suit was in terrible condition, so Gorosaurus did the job instead. The mantis monster Kamacuras attacked the city again in Final Wars. Those 2 movies, Destroy All Monsters and Final Wars, count for a lot of the series' trips beyond Japan's borders. Expect to see their names again. Kyoto, attacked once. Attacked in Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2 in 1993. Kyoto, Japan's historic former capital, has only been hit by kaiju once, but it was a doozy. Godzilla, Rodan, and a new Mechagodzilla, created by the United Nations Godzilla Countermeasure Center, have it out in a laser-filled battle royale. Tateyama, 1. Attacked in Godzilla against Mechagodzilla in 2002. This somewhat minor city in Chiba Prefecture made only a brief appearance in the series when Godzilla attacked in the opening scene of Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. Hong Kong, 1. Attacked in Godzilla vs. Destoroyah in 1995. Godzilla only hit Hong Kong once in the opening scene of Godzilla vs. Destoroyah when a flaming red version of the monster lets off some steam before his meltdown later in the film. Sapporo, 1. Appears in Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah in 1991. Godzilla makes a minor but devastating visit to the largest city in Japan's northernmost island, Hokkaido, trashing the television tower, a local landmark. San Francisco and Honolulu, 1. Attacked in Godzilla 2014. The second American Godzilla production in 2014 brought the Big G to the other side of the Pacific Ocean for the first time, when the kaiju and 2 Mutos utterly wrecked the place in a massive battle. Even though this version of Godzilla was taller than any before him, he still isn't quite as big as he looks in the very cool poster for the movie. Before heading to Northern California, though, Godzilla and the male Muto threw down in Hawaii's capital. London, Beijing, and Moscow, 1. Appears in Destroy All Monsters, 1968. Destroy All Monsters is one of the more globe-trotting entries in the Godzilla series, as evil aliens send an entire roster of monsters around the globe to wreak havoc. They send Manda, a serpentine kaiju, to tackle London. Mothra's larval stage crawled through Beijing during the Destroy All Monsters attack. Rodan flies over Russia and Destroy All Monsters, but since he whips up a destructive supersonic wind in his wake, that's all he needs to do. Sydney, Shanghai, Phoenix, and Okinawa, 1. Appears in Godzilla Final Wars 2004. When the alien invaders of Final Wars unleash monsters across the world, they send Zilla to Australia. No, not Godzilla, but the version of the monster that appeared in the hated 1998 American movie. The real Godzilla defeats Zilla in just 2 moves, ending the shortest monster fight in franchise history by blowing up the Sydney Opera House. The same aliens who sent Zilla to Sydney also sent Anguirus, Godzilla's first foe, to Shanghai. Final Wars really is a world tour, as a bunch of cities make cameos as some random monster knocks over buildings. Kumonga, a giant spider, takes on Phoenix, Arizona. King Caesar was the mammalian guardian of Okinawa Island in Terror of Mechagodzilla, but he didn't attack any proper cities during his debut appearance. However, he did cause some urban chaos as part of the big monster attack in Final Wars. Well, that was it. Did we miss anything? Let us know if we did, and do stick around for the next video. Till then, sayonara.